Last year, I drove a Lotus Emeya SUV around the Nürburgring, of all places. And you know what? I was very impressed. It handled well for an SUV, it was extremely quick, and the cabin was amazing. But I remember thinking, it felt nothing like a traditional Lotus, and my question at the time was, should that count against it? You see, if the Emeya had come from a brand new manufacturer with no history or heritage, it would universally be considered an excellent car, a success. Yet, because it's a Lotus that's very heavy, very complicated and doesn't have a screaming petrol engine, it's had a somewhat mixed response. And that's likely because it is very hard for existing sports car manufacturers with a big reputation to make the virtually mandatory transition into EVs. Chiefly because a lot of what the brand is built on suddenly isn't possible anymore. And I suspect it's going to be the same with this, the Lotus Emeya. Like the Emeya, it's based on the electric premium architecture platform, but rather than an SUV, it's a low-slung 4-seat fastback. Not quite an Exige, but definitely closer to a traditional Lotus. Or sort of. Oh, and by the way, it's got over 900 brake horsepower. That's more than twice as much as the most powerful petrol Lotus, and it means 0 to 62 miles an hour in 2.8 seconds. And if you're wondering what that looks like in practice, then let me introduce you to the unsuspecting Paula, car's social media guru. This is her reaction to 727 pounds-foot of torque. Really good about them.
Yeah. Oh my god. I was not expecting that.
It's gone with a 900 brake horsepower.
900?
Yeah. What were you expecting?
I don't know, a little bit less than that.
A little bit less.
It felt like a spaceship. Wow. Oh my god. Yeah, this is...
It moves around for 2.6 tons.
Yeah, from the passenger, it doesn't feel like heavy around the corners at all.
Yeah. It brakes well as well.
Oh my god.
So the Emeya is very, very fast, but I also think it's quite a good looking thing. You've got this low angular snout on the front end, there's this lovely thin headlights, you've got lots of carbon down here, you've got triangular cutouts in, well, the grille kind of, and also the Lotus badge, I reckon, is one of the best looking car badges out there, especially the way that the yellow and the orange contrasts on this particular car. The wheels, 22 inches, so on the larger side. You've also got ginormous yellow brake calipers, 10 piston those are, and also on this car, carbon ceramic brakes, so colossal stopping power on offer. The virtual door mirrors are Marmite. You can take them or leave them. Some people hate them, other people like them, apparently. And there's also additional cameras facing rearwards, so that'll help with your blind spot. The door handles, they will go flush into the door when the car is locked, so that looks very nice. And then come round the back, yeah, it's a little bit more generic looking than the front, but it's still nice and sleek. You've got the active rear spoiler with the carbon lip. There's also a carbon diffuser, the Lotus script going across the back, which always looks great, and the full width tail light as well. It's a good looking car. I really think it is.
But let me tell you, the outside of this car has nothing on the interior.
Now, it won't be to everyone's taste, but even if you don't like the style in here, you're going to have to admit that the quality is right up there with the best luxury cars, and in some ways, it even beats them. There's Napa leather everywhere. You've got a lovely Alcantara lined steering wheel with exquisite stitching, and also some of the harder surfaces, so on the wheel and on the center console, you've got a glossy kind of carbon fiber look, which I like a lot. And then the details. I mean, one of them is this Dolby Atmos 3D surround sound system. Bit of a mouthful, but the speakers on the door here, they've got a wonderfully detailed design. And then the cup holders, even the cup holders, they disappear into themselves, and then when you finish with them, you take your cup out, they rise back up again, and it sits flush with the rest of the center console. It is such a nice place to sit in here, and crucially, everything feels like it's been screwed together properly. There's some lovely details, as I said, but they don't feel flimsy. It just feels nice and tight and well engineered. I mean, it's basically the same cabin as the Eletre SUV, but the change from old school Lotus to new gen Lotus in terms of cabin quality and design, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but it's like going from a shed to a penthouse suite in the Rosewood. It's that much of a difference.
And there's more good news. The Emeya has a 15.6-inch OLED touchscreen, and the software behind it is powered by, wait for it, a Snapdragon 8155 chipset. Or actually, 2 of them to be precise. That means the infotainment is incredibly powerful and responsive. Oh, and the graphics are also pretty damn good, owing to Epic Games' Unreal Engine 3 tech working within.
As a technical exercise, it is deeply, deeply impressive. However, it's not perfect because as impressive as the infotainment is, the menu design, the ways that you get around it, all the options, it could be a bit more intuitive and easier to use. And that probably takes a bit more time and a bit more resources rather than just throwing very fast processors at it to get absolutely right. Yeah, it just could be a bit more friendly, I reckon. But saying that, at least you don't have to adjust the climate control by delving through a million different menus. You've actually got physical buttons for the climate, which is great. Well done, Lotus.
There's also a 12.6-inch letterbox-style digital dashboard display and passenger information display, which is very much in contrast to the ginormous central screen. They work well, however, and it does reduce the amount of distractions when driving. Oh yeah, driving, Lotus. Let's see what that's like.
Can you hear that? No, me neither. That's because the Emeya doesn't have a silly fake engine sound. It's just all natural electric whine. And I think that's a good thing because apart from maybe the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, I don't think there's a single electric car that comes close to making a decent fake sound. Also, the road noise and the wind noise are kept really well in check. It's super hushed and relaxing in here. And the ride quality as well. It's really good. I mean, 9 out of 10 good. This is up there, in my opinion, with the air suspension on the Porsche Taycan. You could easily sit in this for a 3-hour journey and come out the other end feeling perfectly refreshed. And you've also got more space in here than the Taycan as well.
However, I am dancing around the main issue here, which is how it drives in the corners. And, well, on paper, things don't look great.
This car, the Emeya R, or the 900 as it's now going to be called, weighs in at 2,650 kilograms, which isn't far off being about 4 times as much as a Lotus Elise. And yeah, that's an unfair comparison. But this car is also about 300 kilograms more than a Porsche Taycan Turbo S. And there's absolutely no denying that this is a direct rival to that car. So even by the context of what it is, and by 2025 standards, this is still a hefty thing.
Opt for the Emeya S, or 600 as that's going to be called, and it does shave 70 kilograms off. But it does without rear-wheel steering, active anti-roll bars and carbon ceramic brakes. The R also gets its own air suspension tune, and the rear motor is 2-speed rather than 1.
However, if you want the most enjoyable all-round driving experience, the S/600 is the one to go for. With this, the R/900, it just feels like there's too much power coursing through this car's chassis and going down onto the road, and as such, it locks everything down, and it means that you can't exploit it as much as you'd want from what is a sports saloon. You don't get much adjustability mid-corner, it feels pretty flat, it's very safe, it's very capable, but in terms of fun, it's lacking a bit. More specific observations include the steering, which is nice and quick, but it's nowhere near as feelsome or natural feeling as a Porsche Taycan. The brakes are very powerful, but in terms of modulation, it's quite tricky to do it smoothly. It's not a switch, it's not that bad, but there is a slight feeling of all or nothing to them, especially when you're just trying to measure it into a corner. And also the driving position. I am very comfortable in this chair and I've got a good view out. The steering wheel fits nicely in my hands, but I'm too high up. I really want to get down lower so that it feels like I'm sitting within the car, not on top of it, which is the sensation I'm getting from up here.
There's also a strong sense in the 900 that you need to really think about how you use the accelerator pedal. It's linear and nicely tuned, but the power it unlocks is devastating. The 600, meanwhile, with a mere 603 brake horsepower, does at least feel more exploitable on the road.
Yeah, I mean, it is ballistically quick, but Lotus or not, you would just hope that a car with this level of performance and performance billing would be more enjoyable, more playful.
Mind you, if you get your kicks out of charging, then the Emeya's tech is about as good as it gets. Claimed range for the £140,000 900 is up to 301 miles, while its 800-volt architecture supports up to 400 kilowatt charging speeds on a 600 amp charger. That means a possible 10 to 80% charging time in just 14 minutes, with a 350 kilowatt charger only being a touch slower. Like the cabin, the speed and the onboard tech, it's impressive stuff. But is it enough?
Fast, comfortable, quick to charge, decent range, great tech, looks good, amazing cabin. There's so many things to like about the Emeya, but I think in the case of this 900, you just have to forget the fact that it is a Lotus and just take it as it is.
The truth is, it's no longer the kind of car you buy for exceptional handling, feel, or lightweight design. It's evolved into something else, something different, and as a result, it excels in many other areas. It's certainly not a Lotus as we know it, but that shouldn't count against it, should it?